strange to think this is what it looked like.
21st century? Yep.
It's so different.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when the Earth's crust gets shattered into 1,000 pieces. Check this out. This is what I wanted to show you. It's a quantum energy weapon. There were dozens of them, all over the globe.
My God.
This is your feature-length debut as a director.
Mm-hmm.
Most first-time directors might try something simple like a nice drama, two-hander, something like this.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a way to introduce yourself. How did you get involved with this film?
Well, I was asked to direct it by Peter Jackson. It really is kind of that simple. He kind of called me up one day and said, we're running out of time on the rights for Mortal Engines, and just coming off the back of the Hobbit films, I don't really feel like going into a whole new world creation kind of process. So, would you like to direct it instead?
Right. Okay.
And I said yes. I've been involved before. When Pete bought the rights to it, I'd been involved helping out with the previs team and some early design work. So I kind of knew the property. Also, my son had read all the books, so I knew the books. So it wasn't like completely cold having to sort of, kickstart a sort of, the vision for the film.
How much did you guys, if anything, know about the Mortal Engines books before you got involved with the film?
In truth, I knew nothing. I think when the books were quite phenomenal when they came out. So many people read them, but I think I was just slightly further along. I came out when they came out kind of when I was about 15. So because I'm completely ignorant of popular culture, I didn't really hear about them. Do you know what I mean? So. I read them furiously after I signed up to do the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. Same thing.
I don't think either of us knew anything about we hadn't read the books before we read the screenplay. So we read the screenplay first, and then both went away and read. I didn't read all the books, but Stephen Lang is much more industrious than I am. He read all the books.
That's hardly the case. I know he's an incredibly industrious comprehensive actor. But the truth of the matter was, to play Shrike, it was important to read all the books and also to read the Fever Crumb books because that takes place significantly, as in thousands of years before, where you really do get a sense of who Shrike was. So it was just important for me to do that, But I hadn't read them, and I'm glad I did.
I knew about them and I'd heard about the project and stuff, but from the little I knew, I was like, wow, that sounds so crazy and stuff. But I didn't really know. I hadn't read the books myself, so. When I started looking into it, it was like, wow, what is this world? And the more you get into it, the more you kind of go, it's actually not that different to the world we live in.
Did you both get to see a script first before you'd kind of see the books? Mm-hmm. So having read the script, did you kind of go back to the source material and read through the original ones? Or?
Yeah.
I went to the source material after the first taping, and after the first taping, I was asked to come meet them, so I read the book then for the second round.
Get on! Wait! Leave him!
In terms of being on the set on a day-to-day kind of shooting basis, what is it actually kind of like? I mean, how much of what we see on the screen is real versus kind of CGI and visual effects?
So much of it was absolutely real. I mean, we had like over 100 handmade sets, and I mean, like villages created and everything down to the smallest details. There was there's a scuttlebutt in the film, which is this kind of creature.
It looks like a creature, yeah.
Home / like moving car thing, whatever. And there was like a food making machine in the background in a kitchen that made food out of poo. isn't really featured in the film, but I was fascinated by it because it was there, and you know,
The bar had
The
actual
details?
details of you know where the beer came out of and stuff. No, I think I think the filmmakers will obviously know the stats on this, but for me it seemed like 85-15.
Right.
I love that you have a percentage.
It was like
It's
mostly,
so specific.
It was mostly, you know, only time I felt like I had to do green screen was looking out to the mountains of Shangguo.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, it was mainly the sort of bigger cities moving around and stuff, looking up at them, where we had to kind of go more into the green screen. And then of course Shrike was, Stephen Lang, who plays Shrike, was in a motion capture outfit. But you get used to that quite quickly. It's a bit funny to begin with, and then you sort of go, well, there he is.
You should have seen his costume on the day. It was great. I loved it. I think we should have gone with that. You know, he had this grey one-piece, very revealing.
The onesie.
Very, very sort of tight. It wasn't quite see-through, but... And then he had all these lovely little white balls all over him. He looked terrific.
Thank you
I
so
loved
much.
it. Why aren't you wearing that now?
So much.
So
It's sort of a onesie
like-
is what I had on with markers on it, you know, and I padded it as
He
if I
was
were doing
trying to make
Shakespeare,
me
you know.
lose
And
my character,
then
wasn't he?
occasionally I did have this thing, you can see a picture of it somewhere. I had this head extension.
right.
Because, you know, Shrike is significantly taller.
Look up here.
And so, you know, just to get eye lines, you need and the head, when I was looking at the head extension, I was going like, who does that remind me of? And finally I realized, oh yeah, it looks like Gumby. And so I said,
Gumby's my favourite
I
character.
said, you got to modify this. People are looking up at Gumby. He's supposed to be terrifying. Gumby's not terrifying. But anyway, I just cast myself into it. I figured if I believe in it, then they'll believe in it. You know, Hugo's the only one who found it attractive and charming. Hera was frightened to death.
The production design team down there made these over 130 incredible sets. I mean, the St. Paul's Cathedral set is, I want to say almost life-size. I keep saying that, but I'm not really sure. You could honestly play a game of football in there. Like, it's huge. And then the museum is huge, and the attention to detail is so incredible. You know, there's not much left to the imagination. It's all around you. I think there was one scene that I did, maybe, that was in front of a green screen.
They even minted coins. They created
Yeah.
London currency.
Wow.
They made, you know, probably
Yeah.
many, many hundreds of these coin pieces.
Yeah,
And
we have some of them. Yeah.
yeah, some of them are seen, maybe flashed in the film, and then, but that's the attention to detail that they apply
it's
to their worlds.
incredible.
You know,
There's stuff
whether-
that you know is never going to get seen, but we had it there for ourselves to pick up and use and play with, and yeah.
Okay, city boy, take her from here.
What?
I gotta go. I'm late for church. Hey,
Look after her.
When you're adapting something that's that already has kind of an existing fan base, do you feel any kind of additional pressure to kind of stick quite closely to the source material, or were there moments where you had to kind of make bold choices about things?
Yeah, no, you always do. But design-wise, I mean, the books are very, Philip's descriptions are very steampunk, and we knew that we needed to actually evolve beyond that and not have it, just rest on the steampunk aesthetic, that we actually needed to have something that felt like it was 2,000 years in the future, but had all these references back to our past, as sort of, as history sort of, history works like that. And we knew also up front that we were going to age up Tom and Hester. Tom and Hester are a lot younger in the book, and so we were going to age them up. And so, I think the main thing is it is an adaptation. You have to adapt it into a new medium, but just try and, keep the heart and the core of the story intact.
I think the script actually is it honors the book really well, and I feel like everything from seeing the drawings for the set designs and the characters and everything to what we actually created, to me always felt very much true to the book.
It's not so much. I don't think it's so much a pressure for an actor, but anyway, look, it's just a different beast. It's going to be something different. So you're not going to please the people who love the books to the extent that they can't possibly see anything outside the visual imagination they hold inside the visuals they have in their head. But yeah, it's a problem for everyone working on a film like this. You adapt something which was very popular in written form, and you create something else. I mean, Harry Potter did just that, and they created a very, very, very successful franchise, which many, many young people love. And
It's doing okay.
So yeah, it did all right. It did all right.
Just finally then, I mean, there are obviously 3 books left in the series. I mean, have sequels been talked about yet, or is it just too early for that at this stage?
It's too early for that. I mean, it's you know that's how the economics of Hollywood work is that. There's a good chance that this film wouldn't have been made if it was just one book. We want to make a successful film so that we can continue with those stories because they're wonderful stories.
Would you be up for doing more if an opportunity came along to do a second one?
If they asked me, yeah. If they asked me, I'd seriously consider it.
This weapon can wipe out the largest city in the blink of an eye.
Not if we shut it down.
Nothing can stand in the face of this.
We have to stop London before it destroys us. You sure you want to do this? Once we go in, there's no going back.
I have to.